Okay guys, so we need to settle a topic for our project. So here's a list of ideas that we have narrowed down with. Option 1 is the milligram experiment. The option 2 is the Stanford prison experiment. And option 3, which is the last one, is the Asch-Solomon conformity experiment. So I guess let's all vote on which topic we'd like to do, and then we'll just do the one with the most votes. So I'll go first. I would like to do the Solomon-Asch conformity experiment.
Yeah, same thing. I had the same thought, so I'd also like to do the Asch experiment. You know what? I've never heard of that before, and I'd like to learn more, so yeah, I'll vote for the conformity experiments too.
Dang, I really wanted to do our project on the Stanford prison experiment, but everybody seems really happy with the conformity experiments. I suppose I wouldn't be opposed to working on the conformity experiments, especially if everyone else wants to. I don't want to create any conflict in the group. If I say I want to do the Stanford prison experiment, they might think I'm tough to work with or think less of me. I'll just vote for the Asch conformity experiments too. They want to do it so bad, and I don't want to stand in their way.
Sure, I want to do the conformity experiment as well.
Okay, sounds good. I guess we're all on the same page. So looking forward to working with you guys.
So what happened here? Faced with the social pressures from the group around him, Chris conformed to the group's decision and voted with them, even though it wasn't his personal choice. This is an example of conformity. To most watching this event unfold, we might think we would act differently if we were in Chris's shoes. However, conformity might actually be a natural human response to social situations, meaning most of us would actually act like Chris just did. In 1935, Turkish-American psychologist Muzaffer Sherif wanted to test this phenomenon. In his experiment, Sherif wanted to ask participants a question with an ambiguous answer. To do this, he used a visual illusion called the autokinetic effect, where a small spot of light, like a laser, projected on the wall of a dark room will appear to move even if it remains perfectly still. He first asked the participants individually to estimate how far the light moved. He then grouped participants in groups of 3, with 2 of the 3 people having similar individual estimates, and the remaining person having an estimate that was very different. He repeated the autokinetic effect and asked the group of 3 how far the light moved, and found that over many trials, the group of 3 would converge to a common estimate. He concluded the third person in the group would conform to the same answer the first 2 participants gave.
Solomon Asch, known as one of the pioneers in social psychology, believed that Sherif's experiment was flawed. He didn't like the fact that there was no right answer to the ambiguous nature of the autokinetic effect. If there was no right answer, how do we know if a person conformed? Therefore, in 1951, Asch devised a new experiment to test if people would intentionally give a wrong answer in order to conform. Similar to Sherif's experiment, Asch would also ask each group of 7 participants questions disguised as a vision test. However, Asch's vision test simply asked participants to compare 3 lines and say aloud which line was the longest. The trick in Asch's experiment was that 6 of the 7 participants were actors planted by Asch himself. They were all told to give the same incorrect answer. Asch wanted to test if the one real test subject conformed to the group and also give the same incorrect answer. In a control group with no actors, participants gave the wrong answer less than 1% of the time. However, over 12 trials with the actors in place, around 75% if participants conformed at least once, and only 25% never conformed and gave all the right answers. After interviewing the participants, it appears that people conform for 2 main reasons: normative influence, where they want to fit in with the group, and informational influence, where they believe the group is better informed.